What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Monday, December 23rd. And before we go any further, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. 11-game slate ahead of us. Jalen Williams on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, I'm looking at Nassir Reed. We don't exactly have a ton of value yet on this slate, but it is still to come. Power forward center eligible, 4,400, projected for 13 points, 6 rebounds, an assist and a half, and close to 2 stocks. Plays about 25 minutes a night, but he's getting a nice matchup here against Atlanta. And because you could roster him at power forward, and he's a great per minute guy, this starts to be where we look for value on this slate. Now, I don't anticipate Nassir Reed being in my top 5 by the time we get to lock. I just assume some guys will get ruled out, will create a little bit more value, and that'll bring him down a bit. But he's the best guy on the Minnesota Timberwolves for today's slate. He's going to be in that top 10 area for sure. In at number 4 for me is Jaylen Brunson. Now, this one's going to be a little bit less popular to the public, a little bit more popular for me. Point guard only, 8,300, projected for 27 points, 7 assists, 3 boards, and a steal. Plays about 35 minutes a night. Toronto's constantly missing dudes. They're also on a back-to-back. Everybody usually looks kind of similar for the Knicks relative to salary, but I have my eye on Brunson here. The minutes have slowly crept up. He was sitting in that 33 range for a bit. It got up to 34 pretty consistently. Now I'm feeling pretty good here about 35, and it's not like they're expanding their rotations anytime soon. He's just getting this playing time. So it might not be as popular in the public ownership, but Jaylen Brunson's certainly popular for me. As is my number 3, Shai Alexander. Not all that popular to the public, but he gets a date with the Washington Wizards today, and honestly, that should go pretty well. Point guard only, 10,100, 33 points, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and close to 3 stocks. What isn't he going to be able to do against the Wizards? The Wizards are the worst offense, the worst defense. Shai could carve these dudes up. He could drop dimes all over the floor. Your major concern here is his minutes. He doesn't need to really play what you want out of him. 28 could be very realistic. They could spread this one thin, beat the brakes off of Washington. Shai takes his shoes off for the fourth quarter. That is in play. So we have to be at least a little bit worried about the blowout. And they can do it in 2 ways. They can carve them up offensively and defensively. So even if they have an average day, it could just be that the Wizards score 71 real points and it's a blowout. But I'm happy to pay up at 10-1 for Shai Alexander. The problem? He's not the primary pay up today. The primary pay up today, if he plays, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. 35 minutes, 11,300, taken on the Bulls, pace up spot, power forward center eligibility, 34 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, 2.5 stocks. If I could only get to 1 pay up today, it's absolutely Giannis, because there is no Damian Lillard. Lillard is still doubtful for this one, and that changes everything for Giannis. He projects in a completely different way. He becomes the number 1 per minute fantasy player in the league. But Giannis is questionable, so he might not even be in for this matchup, and that will create a ton of value on the Milwaukee Bucks. But if he's in, there's not a better pay-up option on today's slate than Giannis. But even knowing that, he's not the number 1 play for today. We all thought this was going to be DeLon Wright a couple days ago, and now Ryan Rollins is getting the start in Damian Lillard's place. 28 minutes is where I have him today in that same matchup against the Bulls. Point guard only, 3,500, projected for 13 points, 4.5 boards, 3 assists, and 2 stocks. This is the primary option for you today, and it won't even matter if Giannis is in or not. Assuming Ryan Rollins maintains that starting lineup spot, I went 28 minutes. He could play more than that. The game should be relatively competitive. The spot is great, and he is not priced in any way to be a starter. If Dame were out for, let's say, 3 weeks, Ryan Rollins would be $5K by the time this is over. We're getting well over $1,000 of value in Ryan Rollins that just doesn't exist right now. So this is the premier paydown option. This one's not going anywhere. Very easy for me. He'll be heavily owned. He's the first guy you put into a cash lineup as long as he's starting. Ryan Rollins is my number one contender. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Monday, December 23rd. Top 10s on DraftKings and FanDuel are on my Twitter, and you'll get an update to those later tonight, either right before the deeper dive or right after it. There is no basketball tomorrow, so we won't have a contenders video, but you will have one of these bad boys bright and early Christmas Day. Unwrap a contenders package and get my top plays for Christmas. I hope you guys have a great holiday. I'll see you on Wednesday.